Hello and welcome. I'm making this short video here about emergency fan. We are sitting in the Bantayan today, and the whole north of Cebu Island has basically no power for most of the day. Starting I think 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. is forecast, so 12 hours no power. So what are your options to have fans? Here we have one solution. This is a 12-volt fan that I bought during Odette 1.5 years ago, and this is a normal power bank. If you use a power bank with a 12-volt fan, you need two components. First of all, you have to make sure that this power bank here, that this has a type C output and is able to output 12 volts. So any type C with power delivery 18 watts or higher can likely output 12 volts, but just check the specifics. Then the second component, this adapter here. This adapter is type C to cigarette lighter, car cigarette lighter adapter. This does not step up the voltage, this just draws 12 volts from here directly. So this draws 12 volts directly from the type C. This gives you about 18 watts of power available. This fan here, that was just the only one they had back then, but this one is also available in clip-on version. They cost around 300 pesos on the online shopping platforms. And then you just add it all together. You plug this one in here at the type C, plug your 12 volt car plug fan here into this 12 volt outlet, and you got fan power. This is a Tilex XP06 power bank. It says 60,000, it says 60 on it, which stands for 60,000 milliampere hours. It has a true capacity of about 170 watt hours. It runs this fan for about 15.5 hours. This is your second option. This is a so-called power station with a 230 volt out, and just run a small 230 volt clip fan with it. This is the Yubao EN1 power station. It has a small inverter at the back. This inverter can handle 150 watts. As you can see, it has a normal socket. It has about 140 watt hours, this power station. These clip fans here, you can get them everywhere, and they cost, I think, around 120 pesos. They draw around 10 watts. So the inverter is about 85% efficient. So let's say you get maybe 120 watt hours out of it. Should still run this one fan here for about 12 hours or so. So still get a good output for this one fan. The good thing, of course, is this is a inverter, goes up to 150 watts, and I had it run a big 20-inch 70 watt fan on it. The little negative thing about it is these inverters on these little power stations, they are usually 220 volts and 50 hertz, while here in the Philippines applications, appliances are set for 230 volts and 60 hertz. So the fans will run a little bit slower, plus they make a humming noise. That is just because these lower end inverters, they are modified sine wave, so they are not pure sine wave waveforms, which gives a little bit of humming noise on the motors. But with smaller motors like this one, it does not matter at all. The positive thing here is you can connect multiple of these fans to this one power station. You could easily run 5 or 6 of these. Here is another option that you might already have at home. Because you use computers here in the Philippines, you probably use a UPS. This UPS I'm using here has also a built-in AVR, so this has a voltage regulator, or clips out if the grid voltage goes too high or too low. Just to show you, this is a pretty big unit supposedly can run 1200 watts. I doubt it does, but just to demonstrate, so it can easily run 2 of these fans. They usually say no inductive loads, which is generally true. You don't want to overload your inverters with inductive loads like motors. But these fans are very small, like I said, only 10 watt motors. So it's not a problem for this inverter at all to run that. This UPS has a capacity of 18 amp hours times 12 volts. It probably runs these fans somewhere in the area of a few hours. If it's a single fan, the inverter itself probably burns more energy than the fan. But this is of course an option that you have, because you might have one of these already at home. The only negative thing with the UPS, of course, is it makes the ugly beep when it's off-grid, which has a purpose, of course. But anyway, so these are the 3 options. You have the 12 volt only option with a power bank that supports PD power delivery on the USB-C. Then the more elegant option is a power station with an inverter, or most power stations also have PD 60 watts and higher. You can also connect the 12 volt fan, or you can use a UPS and connect some small fans to it. That's not a problem at all. Here may be a word of caution: when you use a power bank together with a 12 volt fan, most of these power banks can only power one USB port at more than 5 watts. So if you're planning on running more than one fan at 12 volts, you need multiple power banks as well.